Tasks upcoming as we gear up to getting this ready for bid, schedule and timeline and budget estimates, and then we can open it up for questions and further discussion. To be frank with you, there is not a whole lot of change on schedule or budget from the last time we spoke, so should be a pretty familiar presentation to you tonight. What has happened since the last time we talked? We proceeded into the construction documentation phase. Big part of that is drawing details, a lot of nuts and bolts kind of things, kind of behind the scenes stuff, as well as developing the renderings further so we can share them with you and the public tonight. We continue our biweekly coordination meetings as we've been doing. Our acoustical consultant has issued a report with their recommendations for the acoustical treatment in the auditorium from all aspects, including sound isolation, internal room acoustics, mechanical separation, things like that. The land development process has been going very well. Everything was submitted to the township and BCCD, the Berks County Conservation District. From the township side, everything is approved, subject to that's a conditional approval subject to the completion of reviews by other agencies involved, like water and so on and so forth. And we've been talking, of course, with the fire department, making sure everything is good to go in that aspect as well. Berks County Conservation District, administrative and technical reviews are both complete at this point. So we are going very well from a land development standpoint. We had a preliminary meeting with the code official, and that was very encouraging and productive. So we have them kind of on the same page as we are at this point as far as any code aspects. So I think we should be able to submit this to the township for plan reviews with little surprises. So looking forward to a pretty smooth process on that front as well. We did engage Fox Rothschild to start assisting us with the front end specifications. We're using the specifications, the front ends, the kind of the legal portions of the specifications. We're using the previous project as the basis. So we know Jennifer Hanlon from Fox Rothschild has been helping out with us a lot on that front. She did a very thorough review of the last go round. So we're using that as our starting point this time. So again, that process should be much more straightforward as well. And then, as always, we're meeting with the administrative team throughout the process to share with them what we are proposing and to get and receive and implement feedback from them. So these are all images that you've seen already. So, of course, here you see the proposed new addition footprint kind of superimposed with the surrounding high school facility, the upper house, as you would call it. So, of course, the blue area is the new addition with the additional accessible parking kind of right across the drive from that. And then the kind of area to the left side that you see in gray under the existing parking lot is approximately the area that will be disturbed for the new stormwater drainage system that's required for this addition. I had mentioned to you before that we are going to be doing some connections from here down to the lower house to send our storm and sanitary to. That's just by nature of where the elevations of the existing storm and sanitary are. So we needed to find a way to get it to an elevation compared to, you know, where the floor level of this addition is going, so that everything flows smoothly. We did meet with the fire marshal as well, and we're going to take a proactive approach with them in adding a fire hydrant close to within 100 feet of the fire department connection that we are proposing. The fire department connection that we have as part of this addition is in the kind of northwest corner of the blue area that you see there. So we'll be adding a fire hydrant as well. That's in response to what we understand is forthcoming requirements of the township, having additional fire hydrants. Looking internally, this diagram, again, same as you've seen it before. The new construction area shown in blue and the renovation area shown in yellow. So as you can see, the new construction is largely the auditorium, stage, and kind of backstage spaces like the costume and changing rooms and dressing rooms. There's a media and control room as well. And then you can see the band, choral, and orchestra rooms. They are what mostly comprise of what is currently the existing auditorium. And they have, of course, their ancillary spaces around them too. Practice, storage, offices, so on and so forth. Again, I've shared this with you before. This is the proposed seating layout. So we're at about 1,160 seats. We're going to do one final pass with the seating rep before we issue this to bid. But 1,160 seats and 210 upstairs. So the difference would be downstairs. So that's what, 970 or so? 950, sorry. Some updated imagery for the exterior elevations, only slight changes. One of the comments before was getting a little bit of the red in the Bulldog's collar and bringing the colors out there. So that's what we did. As you can see, the curtain wall has a lot of sun screening on it, vertically oriented. That's for as the sun comes across the sky westward throughout the day, it can deal with the westward light more effectively than horizontal sunshades. As you walk down the site a little bit further, because of them being angled off of the curtain wall, the visual effect of them kind of disappears. It's a pretty neat effect. So you can kind of see the Wilson Performing Arts Center inside of it. And not to give away the video, but it ends in kind of an evening dusk shot that you can see how the building glows. It's really fascinating. So this is what you would see when you walk into the lobby. So of course we're proposing, using the Wilson colors in a striking way. You can see to the left the Bulldog events. It's kind of the ticket booth, but also taking a dual role as like a security station throughout the day. The gymnasium entrance is further down on the left side. And then you can see the hallway that leads back to the new music corridor beyond that. To the right, as you would enter, there would be location for displays that can show anything from announcements, the day's menus, upcoming events, performances coming into the auditorium, events in the gymnasium. There's a lot that can be done with that. Then as you turn to the right, this is the entrance to the Performing Arts Center. So you can see we're giving it a similar treatment to the gymnasium, kind of having a similar language throughout the design, with kind of a red entranceway with signage above it. And then to the right, you can see some seating areas in front of the curtain wall. Should be a very inviting space. Here's a look a little bit closer at the gymnasium entrance. So you can see we're incorporating kind of a display alcove. We can bring over the Bulldog statue that you currently have in the auditorium lobby. So we can kind of have that continuity between the old and new. And then, as we showed before, we have a location for the new Distinguished Alumni Wall, which is currently in the existing auditorium lobby, with enough space for expansion at your current rate of, I think you said 3 to 4 additional persons per year for the next 25 or so years. And just beyond that would be the Fallen Heroes Memorial, relocated from the existing lobby. So this is a new image that I think will be new to most of you. Inside of the auditorium, you can see here, this is just underneath the balcony overhang above you. So you can see looking down toward the stage, to either side would be screens, digital screens for announcements or whatever you choose to use for your performances. There is an orchestra pit in front of the seating area. between the seating area and the stage. You can see some wood treatments kind of surrounding the proscenium opening of the stage that draws attention, focuses your attention to the stage, and then kind of a band of it up to about 8 to 10 feet above floor level. All of that wood treatment on each side is acoustical treatment. That's diffusing specifically the sound from the stage back to the listener's ears. So it's kind of dealing with bandwidths and things a little bit beyond my expertise, but that's why we have the acoustical consultant involved. The red and black panels above them are also diffusing panels. So they are slightly bowed. That also helps spread the sound in a more ideal way than a simple flat wall would. You can see, again, more diffusing panels hung from the ceiling. Those as well are bowed above you, again, to help reflect and diffuse the sound from the stage out to the seating areas, including the balcony levels too. You can see hints of the catwalk above those ceiling hung clouds. And that catwalk is where a lot of the theatrical lighting will be kept. So that's all accessible and easily replaced and maintained throughout the year. Any questions here? This is a new image. Similar image from balcony level. So you can see the views out to the stage are quite clear from the balcony level. You can see a little bit more of the orchestra pit below. So the orchestra pit can be accessed from each side of the stage. And then the side to the left also has a wheelchair lift down to it. So anybody would be able to use it. So this is a little bit of a walkthrough, kind of putting all those images together to give you kind of a more realistic sense of how you would experience it. So this is coming down the drive, and you can see how the effect of those sunscreens kind of diminishes as you get further down there. You can see more and more through, which, like I said earlier, you'll see has a striking effect in the evening times. And then, of course, when you walk in, you see a large portion of the lobby, and then as you turn right, you start to see the Performing Arts Center side of it. And it comes around, you can see where the seating areas are. And this is what it will be like as you enter. So when you walk in to the auditorium, your first space that you hit is actually the light lock, and this is specifically designed to keep light from glaring into the stage area when there's a performance going on. So you kind of walk outward and then in. So the light has no direct path to the stage from the lobby. You can see the overhang of the balcony above you. This is a look back from the stage area. So you can see all the acoustical treatment going on here. There's quite a lot of it. So it should be a very high performing acoustic space. Again, a view from the balcony. It's the Fallen Heroes and Distinguished Alumni walls. And again, I'll say we are anticipating having some discussions with those involved with the current Fallen Heroes memorials so that we can kind of see their vision through to the new version of it as well. This is walking back the hallway to the music corridor. To each left and right side right there is the overhead doors so that things can pass from the scene shop over to the stage. And then the next three views are each of the music classrooms. This is the orchestra room. So that red bulkhead that you see beyond there is actually a portion of the existing structure that we're working with to fit the orchestra room into. The orchestra room, interestingly, kind of straddles the new and the existing. So the band and choral rooms, you see, we use a similar red bulkhead all the way around it. These are kind of landlocked spaces. They don't get any natural light, so we were trying to do something that pops the ceiling up a little bit visually and gives a nice surround around it as well. Here, of course, is the coral room. And then there's a look at nighttime. And that's the end.
Thank you, Sean, for the updates. Are there any?
No, sorry, that's the end of the video.
Oh, okay. I was gonna
So coming up, construction documentation. We'll be finalizing the details and specifications. We'll be recording the land development plans over the next few weeks as we get those final tasks worked out with the township. We'll be also submitting all the plans to Spring Township for a code approval, which would set us up for permitting the project. The plan is to issue the project to bid on September 7th, pending the school board approval, which I believe will happen at the August 21st school board meeting. And then based on a 4-week bid period, that would set the receipt of bids to October 5th. We could also work out an extension as contractors often ask for. And we would just want to make sure that we kind of get a handle on anything else that might be bidding out there. What we don't want to do is have some other project bids due the same day. Contractors could drop out of one of them. We certainly wouldn't want it to be ours. So I don't see any issues doing that. We can set up that schedule as the contractor's request if needed. We would then present the bid results to the school board on October 16th. And the board vote on the bids on November 6th. So that's kind of looking down the line a little bit. This kind of puts that into flow chart form. So of course today, August 7th, we're in the final stretch of the construction documentations phase. The board approval to issue the project to bid would therefore occur on the 21st if you so chose to do so. And then that approximate bidding window, the September, October, culminating the bidding period or bidding phase at that November 6th meeting. And then getting a start on construction within a month or so after that, month, maybe 2. Again, like I said before, the plan would be for the auditorium to be ready for the winter 2025 concerts. To give you an idea, from January 2024, 20 months would lead you to August of 2025. And I think that's an appropriate duration for the construction of this project. I've showed this chart before. Basically, in short, we're finalizing the Spring Township process with the outside agency approvals. And once we get those, we'll be recording the plans with the township. Berks County Conservation District process is complete. And again, this is the same budget that I presented the last time I met with you. I believe that was in June. So our bottom line is at $22.9 million right now. Estimated bid day cost is currently at just under $20 million, 19.6. And then when you add in all the related soft costs, and additional soft costs, including professional fees and everything that's been you've seen expense so far, like acoustic consulting, geotech, so on and so forth. That'll bring you to just under $22.9 million. That does include a allowance of just under $600,000 for furniture and equipment, which should be sufficient for what this project is. Now,
let's try that again. Thank you, Sean, for the update. Do we have questions from board members?